So the past two episodes of Sense of a Bookworm were pretty insane, honestly. Like, I was sold after the first episode of watching another season, but damn. Episodes 2 and 3 had like a level of drama that really turned something from a very compelling, solid show into something that you're wishing you could binge the remaining. I think we have 7 more episodes to go, because I think it's a 10-episode season, which is perfectly acceptable to me, because seriously, like, the idea of a shorter season on paper, you can say, oh man, we don't get more episodes, I'd rather it be 12, but I mean, just the overall quality bump that this season has already gotten from background details, more consistent character models. Now, I am doing a double review. I do want to do these in normal reviews, just one episode at a time. But last Monday, some stuff came up unexpectedly, so I got busy, and I was too busy on Wednesday to do it. So just know, most likely, going forward, if I do miss the Monday release, probably Wednesday. But in the rare cases, don't be worried, it will just be a double review. I am going to review all the episodes in some way. That's how I did it with Season 2, but just Mondays in general, my life is a little hectic right now, so don't take it personally that I'm just like randomly dropping or anything like that. But I will say there was some pretty big reveals in the past 2 episodes, especially this latest one that just came out with the realization that apparently the wolf is dead, and just really putting into perspective that MYNE'S life is in so much danger. Now, don't get me wrong, I said so in my first impressions / first episode review of Season 3. Just to see the people and how easily disposable they seemingly are, and the fact that we're really at a point where when she reaches 10 years of age, either she has to be adopted or she has to be killed. Because essentially, like, as much as we love our girl Mime and how adorable and full of energy she is, like, look at the times in these last couple of episodes of her losing her composure. One time, obviously, with her mana going crazy, her eyes glowing, and then other times, you don't know if she needs a stone to cool her down. It's not like Ferdinand being unrational and being like, oh, you know, the idea of it's either adoption or death is too extreme. If this man could rule the world with an iron fist, I think he'd probably do a better job than most of the people in charge of shit. But unfortunately, he only has so much power, and this girl is literally either going to be kidnapped, killed, tortured, sold off, killed by his own group, or she can go under the parental protection of someone that he trusts. And I'm actually kind of glad that it was her mom who agreed to it and not the dad, because in character, MYNE'S dad would rather punch Ferdinand to death than give up his little girl. Like, that just feels like his character. He's someone who knows who's noble, who's righteous, but if you're saying you're going to take his daughter away, you best be ready to draw a sword. Like, that's how he is. He's a very protective dad. But the idea that her mom, someone who's been told and has proof that since her being there, she's been safe, she's been healthy, and she hasn't, you know, passed out or anything like that, it makes way more sense for her character to agree to it, and then in return the father, I mean, he's not going to fight his wife over it, right? It's something that it's kind of the voice of reason in a hot-headed moment, and he has to kind of back down as much as he doesn't want to. Ferdinand really became a character I truly appreciated and considered one of the best in Season 2, and I continue to feel that way with Season 3, because he's someone who has such a kind heart despite not thinking he does. Like, the fact that he's saying, get spoiled by your parents until you turn 10, but at that point, I won't consider your feelings anymore. Honestly, it's kind of hard to even say what that would look like by the time she does reach 10, right? Because the more time he spends with her, the more he truly seems to care for her. And I love the fact that she does have a way of getting through to this seemingly emotionless husk, but does so in such a great way. But it's crazy to see just the fact that she needs a bodyguard. She can't even just go to the library anymore because you don't know the wolf in sheep's clothing, right? You don't know who inside those walls can be trusted, especially when the highest of the priests, it continues to look down on you and lies to your face about orders given to a lord for you to do, when really, you know damn well the lord wasn't giving said orders. So to me, just to see that, you know, tying back to Season 2, I think it was at the very end of Season 2, if memory serves me, when you had the almost mine assassination attempt, the guards, not wanting to do it, and then how that all relates to the punishment. I think it was like a year time that the one guy got demoted there, and then of course we have the bodyguard plotline now. And I'm glad the fact that they're not being irrational about things. They're not just saying, well, now that she's inside the church, no one would touch her inside the church, she's fine. No, she can't go to the library by herself. She needs to have a bodyguard. And even then, it's too cold, she'll get sick. Well, what if we go the route of having books delivered to her? course breaking the rules, but when that girl has that much mana and you need said mana, obviously she might have a little bit of pull when it comes to just wanting to be happy and not lose her composure. Though I did like seeing the kind of progression of a very simple concept, but the idea of basically board games, right? And the fact that something so simple in our modern world with machines that can mass produce board games and puzzle pieces and things like that so quickly, the fact that in this world we need it to be exact, the exact same font size, the exact same letters, right? The exact same height, width, everything. And the fact that this man pulled through and actually created something that crazy, you just really get a sense of why the world would want to exploit, kill, or just do bad things to mine. Because she is a little girl with not only more mana than an entire country by the looks of it, she also seemingly has these knowledge that can change the world just like that. Whether it's big, small, or in the middle type things, it's still something that shakes the status quo, and I think they've done an excellent job within just 3 episodes to really highlight why people are either after her for money or because of fear, and sometimes a little bit of both, right? And that's why you really can't trust too many characters, and honestly, at this point, I think there's really only a very small group you can trust, and that is MYNE'S inner circle. And after that, I mean, really, you never quite know. I can't remember if it was in episodes 2 or 3, but because I watched them back to back, but I love this moment where you see MYNE in what should be a very kind of like royal suite, right? Great furniture, great looking food, but it's so lonely. She's sitting alone with no company. And then you see a different scene shortly after of her back at her home, flashback, thinking of the good old days. Rundown place, not that great of furniture, but how happy she is. The juxtaposition of seeing her and why she feels so isolated, right? Because, of course, her life matters, and she much would rather live a shitty life for a year to be able to see her family again, but it doesn't change the fact that for this little girl, this is without a doubt the most hell-forsaken thing she's experienced, and the fact that it just gets extended past that. It's not just for the winter, it's for the spring, and eventually it's going to be to the point where she'll never see her family again, potentially. But if you live, there's always the possibility for reuniting someday, and that's the thing that she has to hold on to, otherwise she is going to lose her composure, and potentially people are going to try to put her down because of that. But I do like the fact that she's not completely alone at that church, right? You don't have like Ferdinand just being a complete asshole and disregarding her feelings. Like, he recognizes, as painful as it is to hear what he's saying, you should be able to get spoiled by your parents till you're 10. You do have the servants who, seriously at this point, are starting to feel like they'd give their life for her, even though some still have that bit of betrayal that they're trying to please people who they probably should. I'm just loving how everything is coming together so well, and I've heard some great things about the content that this season will be covering, and honestly, at this point, I can only say I agree with probably the hype they're laying out, because these first 3 episodes, especially 2 and 3, like, episode 1, great, don't get me wrong, but 2 and 3, and especially episode 3, just feel like in a league of its own, even surpassing some of my favorite points in the second season, and maybe that's too early for some people to say hype like that, but so much I'm enjoying it. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. Like I said, if you don't see it on a Monday, probably a Wednesday, and if not, that just means a double review the following Monday. So let me know what you're feeling down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're new around here. Till next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.